Hi, I'm Nicola, and Rosie, here's my response to your response to Benjamin Cook's Girls on YouTube. Ben crossed into a minefield of gender politics in that video, and based on your response, Rosie, and a few others, it looks like a few of those mines have exploded. I just hope Ben wasn't injured. I jumped into the episode as soon as it hit my sub box. Well, by sub box I mean Twitter, and my first impression of it was very favorable. I tweeted that out. I think the newest Becoming YouTube is the best, certainly the one that digs deepest, maybe even has the best jokes. Boom, Ben retweeted. Boom, boom. Rosianna @replied, @Nicola. Totally disagree, think it's the worst, most disappointing, though effective as a sort of State of the Union on the attitudes. I made a deal with Rosie on the spot. I said, if you post a response, I'll respond to that. And you did, so I am. But I almost broke that promise because what's left to say? Rosie points out, as have the others, that Ben seems to be unaware of many of the successful female YouTubers out there. Or maybe he knows about them, but they fall below some threshold that he set for consideration. Rosie provides an impressive list of successful and worthy women's channels, and most of the other responses provide similar lists. She and the others go on to dismantle Ben's dismissal of beauty gurus. And finally, Rosie talks about the hostile comments that women get that men get a lot less of. It's a topic that Ben touches on, but Rosie's verbatim reading of a selection of vile, abusive comments is chilling. Makes you wonder how women have the courage to post any content at all. So there's really not much for me to add, but I did make a promise, and I'm going to keep it. But I'm going to do it in song. That comes a little later. First, let me roll back to why my initial response to Girls on YouTube was so positive. How do I love thee, episode 7? Let me count the ways. Thou introduceth new members to the panel of participants. Thou hast a Gilbert and Sullivan parody, not WS, not Birdie. Thou hast deeply nested jokes that pop out of each other like Russian dolls. Thou hast Hank. Thou hast Hank saying Dan and Phil make him wet. Thou hast Emma and Lindsay. Thou hast crab sticks in a dress and cayenne in a dress. In short, thou hast an abundance of all the ingredients that make Becoming YouTube my favorite current series. Did you hear that, Ben? My favorite current series. Still, I love it. I do. Even if I stand with Rosie on some of the particulars. Plus, and this is the worst and best thing about this particular episode, it's about something real. For the first time, I thought Ben produced an episode that's not really about YouTube at all. Well, not at its heart. It's about a topic from the real world. Gender roles. Gender politics. Whatever may be happening inside of YouTube with regard to women creators is just a reflection of something that our species has been grappling with for decades, for centuries, millennia. Now, that's best because it resonates deeply with a lot of people. It's worst because it resonates deeply with a lot of people. So if Ben doesn't get it just right, folks in the audiences are not only going to notice, they're going to feel it and talk about it. I'm in awe, genuine awe of the way Ben has gone about this. Brain crack. Smart young writer steal a time machine, go back 2 years and begin an email correspondence with Benjamin Cook about his process. How does he work? What are the creative, casting, and production challenges? Who's he having dinner with? There is a book in that, well, an e-book anyway, call it The Vlogger's Tale. Look, given the enormous amount of thought and work that Ben has invested into this series, I completely understand his impulse to defend all of his choices. But I'm hopeful he can quiet that impulse long enough to take something useful out of what his critics are saying. And I think he will. I fully expect we'll be hearing from him about the dissenting minority in the next episode, and I'm looking forward to that. Here's one thing I took from the criticism. Ben is excellent in talking about and to the guys at the top of the food chain, and he's very perceptive talking about the audience. But there's a vast part of YouTube that he doesn't cover yet, and I'd like to hear more about it. It's what I call the middle, because what's unique about YouTube is that it has a middle. In fact, it's mainly middle. In traditional media, you can either be the show or see the show. You can walk the red carpet or watch the red carpet. Traditional media has gatekeepers, people who are paid a lot of money to guess whether or not you are good enough to put asses in seats. When I was in college, this was the early 60s, I worked at the student radio station. We invited the chief announcer from a major New York radio station to talk to us about the industry, and he said, I will never hire a woman to read the news. A woman couldn't sell me anything. He was a gatekeeper. YouTube's different. No gatekeepers. As John Green said, there are no bright lines. Anyone can start. People start all the time. Nearly a year ago, we heard that there were 3 days' worth of new video being uploaded to YouTube every single minute. 60 new hours to watch every minute. By now, it's probably 4 days, maybe more. And most of that is coming from the middle, people who aren't chasing the giant gold play button. That's the big wall-hanging YouTube awards to people with 1 million subscribers. Ben's opening question was, why do you think more girls don't do YouTube? But they do. And then it was, why aren't they more successful? But they are. I wonder if the reaction to girls on YouTube would have been a little different if Ben had framed it as a glass ceiling story. Why aren't more girls getting to the very top echelon of YouTube? You don't find many women featured on Becoming YouTube because most of them are in the middle, even if they're very high up in the middle. And we haven't heard yet about the middle. So there are 5 episodes left. Ben is very smart. Maybe he can find a way to talk about the middle. I'm in the middle. Oh, one last thing. I haven't touched the most heavily criticized part of girls on YouTube, the peroration. I love that word, peroration. I think I like it because in my head, I always hear Elmer Fudd saying it. Peroration. Be very quiet. I'm hunting for woggers. In rhetoric, the peroration is the rousing part of a speech, the call to action, usually at the end. And in Ben's video, the peroration is the part where he invites girls and women to take up vlogging, and he pleads with them to be good. Rosi was just one of the people who tore that bit apart to pieces. I'm not going to do that. I can't do that. I will, however, set it to music. Oh, wait. I need a Ben Cook wig. It's a good thing Comic-Con was in town last weekend. It's all about the cosplay. They sell what you need to dress as your favorite fantasy character. Wigs, yes. Do you have a Ben Cook wig? Ah.
If you give me your attention, I will tell you what I am. I'm a proper YouTube feminist. All other kinds are sham. I treat the women's channels with ultimate respect, except the beauty gurus whom I rather much neglect. I know how to get famous and I cheerfully advise. I tell them if they'd just be good, they'd see their numbers rise. I love the lady vloggers, I give all the help I can. Yet everybody says I'm such a disagreeable man, and I can't think why. I have only good intentions, I'm pro-female by design. If girls would just be funny or intelligent, they'd shine. If only they'd do music, share opinions, take a risk, their meteoric rise would rival Emma's, but more brisk. I know everybody's numbers, their subscribers and their views. If boys are doing better, that's just what the viewers choose. It's teenage girls who watch the boys, it's nothing that I plan. Yet everybody says I'm such a disagreeable man, and I can't think why. When I reply to comments, I'm as pleasant as can be. You'll always find me ready with a crushing repartee. I'd like to be more hopeful, but I'm not, I must confess, because no woman's funnier than crab sticks in a dress. I'd love to find more females who can sit for interviews, but I shan't fish at the bottom of the barrel, I refuse. If I ever find a good one, I'll subscribe and be her fan. Yet everybody says I am a disagreeable man, and I can't think why.
He can't think why? He can't think why.